tri-state area, Sydney Santiago here at the 9 a.m. news. In recent news, SpongeBob SquarePants' performance in the Bubble Bowl has left many in awe and surprised even the conductor Squidward Tentacles at how well the orchestra played. What's that? Hold up, I'm getting a word. Breaking news! Yes, I've just received word that last night, July 14, 1789, the Paris had successfully liberated the Bastille in Paris. A crowd gathered outside the mid-morning calling for surrender of the prison, the removal of guns, and the release of arms and gunpowder. Two representatives of the crowd were outside into the fortress and negotiations began. Another was admitted around noon with defined demands. The negotiation dragged on while the crowd grew and became impatient. Around noon, the crowd surged into the undefended outer courtyard, and the chains on the drawbridge in the inner courtyard were cut. The crowd screamed to have fallen and had drawn into the trap, and the fighting became more violent and intense, while attempts to organize a ceasefire were ignored by the attackers. With the possibility of a mutual massacre suddenly apparent, Governor de Launay ordered his army to cease fire. A letter offering his terms was handed out to besiegers through a gap in the inner gate. His demands were refused, but de Launay nevertheless capitulated, and he realized that his troops could no longer out much longer. He opened the gates to the inner courtyard, and the Persians swept the fortress. 90 attackers and one defender had died on the actual fighting. De Launay was seized, and a discussion to his fate began. De Launay was stabbed repeatedly, and his head was sawn off and fixed on a pike to be carried through the streets. A handful of prisoners were released, but no weapons were found. There were estimated 100 Istoles. Marquis de Launay was accused of weak and indecisive leadership, which led to the downfall of the Bastille. And now for our field reporter Eric Carlson's interview with Louis XIV.
Good morning, Sydney. I'm here again with another exclusive interview with our special guest, with a special guest appearance by King Louis XIV. King Louis, how do you feel about the situation with the peasants and the Bastille in Paris?
Since the peasants are revolting, but they're like peasants, they're not gonna do much. So like, there's really no hope. Because I think my army's gonna crush them, and like, my Paris of Versailles is so cool. So like, they can't beat that.
Okay. What do you think about your army? Like, what are their capabilities?
Well, I didn't like open my army anyway, like money, but I spent it all on like my stuff, my own stuff. But like, it's my army, so it's good. So we should be fine.
Do you think your army's like capable of demolishing any opponent?
Well, they don't have that many guns, so like my army, it should be fine.
Okay. Do you feel like your army has any faults or like downsides?
Obviously not, it's my army.
Okay. Alright, that's all we have time for, Sydney. Thanks again, King Louis, and this is Eric Carlson, and stay classy. Okay, good morning, Sydney. I'm here with Marquis de Launay with an exclusive interview about the peasants revolting and capturing the Bastille. Marquis de Launay, how do you feel about how your defense is held up?
Well, we couldn't really use the defenses, but we had like a lot of them. We had cannons and huge towers, but because the peasants were like, I couldn't order my men to attack peasants. That wasn't like cool. So we basically couldn't fire. But at one time, I actually held gunpowder and I threatened to throw it at the peasants. That kind of scared them, but they didn't like falter. So, like, didn't really work out. As you can see, I'm dead.
When you were captured, how did you feel?
I felt scared, and before I actually asked them if I could be spared, but they said no. So obviously they're gonna kill me anyway. And as you know, by this I got beheaded.
What was the Bastille like? What was its inventory like? What was it protecting?
Okay, the Bastille was actually owning guns and ammunition, and the rebels needed that to like wage a full-scale like revolution against King Louis. But the Bastille was also in Paris, so like kind of represented King Louis's power over the Parisians and his confidence. So by taking the Bastille, they actually freed them like mentally and physically.
Do you know why they wanted to take the Bastille?
to like diminish King Louis's power over the people, and to show that they weren't gonna take like his laws, his unfair laws and rules anymore, and to show that they were wanting to be a free and new France.
That's all we have. We're still good. That's all we have time for. Thank you, Marquise Delaunay.
It was my pleasure
for your interview.
All right.
And wait, what? I don't know. Right, pause it.
At one point in the siege of the Bastille, me, Marquis Delaunay, actually, the rebels were out to break through our lines, and they demanding our surrender. Our men were surrounded, we were outnumbered, and we were outgunned. So obviously, I wanted to surrender because I'm a coward. So then I told them I would surrender, but they're like, and so I was like, spare all my men. But then they were like, no, we're gonna kill you anyway because you're a bad person. So then I was basically hold up a box of gunpowder because I have 20,000 pounds of gunpowder in my fort, the Bastille. And I threatened to blow it all up and blow them up with me. But the rebels, like idiots they are, they didn't want it. They said blow me up anyway. It will free France. So the gunpowder trick didn't work, and then I surrendered for real, and then I got beheaded. This is Marquis signing off. Today's final story is when we will discuss the different estates and the Estates General of France. At the time of Louis XIV's reign, France was divided into 3 different estates. The first estate had to do with the clergy, which included the religious peoples, such as the bishops, priests, monks, nuns, and other religious persons, etc. The second estate had to do with the nobility, would include the king's family, as well as his nobles and other members of the noble families. The final estate, the third, which included the merchants, craftsmen, the bourgeoisie, and the peasants. The Estates General was a legislative assembly made of different representatives from each estate, and this was like a legislative assembly. It had a separate assembly for each of the 3 estates, and which were each called and dismissed by the present king. It had like no real power, but it was able to approve taxes or making laws. Instead, it functioned as an advisory body to the king and other members of other nobles.
The people revolting at the Bastille shows that people crave for rights every day, and that anyone can revolt. You need a team, a common goal, and an ambition to fight in what you believe in.
After the peasants captured the Bastille, they went on to Versailles, and they beheaded King Louis XIV, and it led to France having a republic and having an efficient and fair government system. And that's all we have for now.
For more information, please go on BSS News/LouisXIV.
Comment your opinion and follow us on our Facebook page at ESS News.com.
This is Cindy Santiago.
And Eric Carlson.
And we are signing off.
We need guns and ammunition and weapons to attack the Bastille. Oh look, there is an armory. Let us go raid it. Victory! Attack the Bastille! The Bastille was commanded by the great French Count Marquis Delaunay. He had just defeated a garrison of 23 foot soldiers, and now he will face the greatest battle of his life. the Marquis, he starts his cannon fire, while the rebels also do it as well. The rain is in the great camera.
I will only surrender to spare the lives of my men and lives.
No!
Then I will blow up this fortress. Just like up ours.
No, you will not! Surrender! Surrender or die!
I'd rather die!
You're gonna die!
Surrender! I will surrender.
Surrender for real!
Okay,
Bam! No, I shot you in the leg!
I will surrender.
Last words.
Viva la revolution!